What's up, everybody? How you doing? Shit. What's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to ShpTalk here at 31 Records. Hanging out with Colin today. We're just chilling, man. I have very little time in the store. We may end up in the car here in a minute, but they're super weird about that stuff. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that stuff. Check out Dead and Buried Inc. if you need merch for your band or an event or a small business. They're from the punk rock scene. It is a small business. They're good, high quality stuff, very good prices. Punk Rock Review will get you 10% off your first order as well. Shout out to Colin and for Christian for selling me this. This Texas Insanity old school ass Hayes tape. You said this was from what year?
1993.
That's crazy.
There's no represses of it. So
no represses. Only edition ever. And he brought me a sweet-ass Hates patch, which will end up on my new hoodie, because, yes, I got a new hoodie. Anyways, okay, look. So today we're going to talk about just, like, what have I learned in the first couple of years owning a record label, in the first couple of years owning a small business, doing YouTube. Mostly it's going to be about the store and my label, right? 31 Records. What have I learned since I've opened this store and started my label? Because this will probably be a part one. I imagine people are going to have questions in the comments as this goes on. So please, if you have questions about this stuff, ask me. I'm an open book. I'm very transparent. I have no reason to hide anything. But I also forgot to bring my other phone to film on, so my notes are very going to be, I'm pretty irritated by that. Andrew, if you're watching this, check it out, buddy. I made your tape. Side A is on side A, and then the other side, it's side B. I don't know if you knew that or not, but anyways, it's got 16 radical punk rock songs from Texas. Radical.
And I was there to make sure that he did it right.
This is true. Okay, so I got a couple of notes that I'll just start, man. So owning a label is terrifying. It's a lot of work. It's expensive, but it's like one of the coolest things I've ever done. It's fun, man. I have a lot of fun. I'm really proud of it. I've already put out 16 releases in the last 2 years, and I'm working on 17. Yeah, it's incredibly gratifying and in ways outside of money. If you're looking to do something that's going to make you money, do not start a record label, especially a punk rock one. I don't understand the people that, oh man, I want to go make a punk label or a hardcore label and I'm going to go make a bunch of money. It's just not realistic.
Punk in general.
Yeah, I agree, but it's you're barking up the wrong tree, man. It's just not a feasible thing. Holding this is driving me nuts. Hopefully you can hear this.
You don't look cool holding it anyway.
I don't care. I don't look cool ever. You know this.
You look cool.
Aw. Dude, high five.
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
You're a silver fox.
Let's go. Yeah. I don't know if I should take that as a compliment or not.
No, I mean,
I am very gray though. Look at all this shit. I saw a picture of me the other day from just a few years ago, all red and brown. I got real sad.
You earned that, man. You earned that. That's wisdom right there.
It is wisdom. Drug addiction too. Wisdom though. Children, also children.
Mistakes learned.
Okay, so when you're owning a label, one of the most important things that you can learn, and you'll learn it very quick, do not be afraid to say no. You're the one that's putting up the money. You're the one that's putting in the time. If you get something from somebody, especially a friend, it's oftentimes really hard to say no. You have to, man. You can't say yes to everything. It's not realistic. It's not feasible. The one thing I wish I had done early on is say no a little more often. But I also learned from some of the mistakes that I made, so I guess it's not that big a deal. But I've said no to quite a few people in the last 2 years, and it doesn't feel good, honestly. It sucks. But if you say yes to everything and you spread yourself too thin and you make promises that you can't necessarily keep, that's not going to help anybody. So don't be afraid to say no to people. Do something that you love doing, strictly because you love doing it. As I said before, making money on this is almost going to be an impossibility. So make sure you love doing it. You'll never be jaded and you'll never be resentful if you just do what you love. Because I've put out, like I said, 16 releases. I have made profit on, I think, 3. I've broke even on a fair amount of them, but I've lost money on probably 4. Let me think. Maybe even more than that. I'm probably at a loss total if you wanted to add it all up. Not a significant loss, but it's hard to maintain, putting releases out every 2 months or so if you're just throwing money out the window. It's incredibly hard. And if you have people that depend on you, you can't be doing that. Work with people that you know. I've learned the hard way that you need to to work with people that you know personally, because I don't know if I said this on here or not. I might have told the story before, but there was a band called Contact out of, I think they're from Washington. I did like a review of some of their music, and it was really good. They got a good response. I interviewed these guys. They were cool dudes. We talked, and then they were like, "Hey, we're shopping for labels," and I had just gotten going. I think I had 1 or 2 tapes out, and they were like, "We're looking for a tape label. We heard you have a tape label. If you want to work with us, we're shopping around." And I was like, "Tapes? I can do tapes." And so we talked about it. And keep in mind, this is like my 3rd release, and so like even $500 was a significant amount of money to me back then. And so we agree upon this stuff, and I give them a deal that I wouldn't give other people. Also, on the don't be afraid to say no thing, they wanted a certain number of tapes. I didn't really want to do that number of tapes. I ultimately caved and did that number of tapes. I shouldn't have. I should have stuck to my guns and been like, no, I'm only doing this many, because they were saying like, oh, well, we want more tapes. With the deal, it's like, well, then buy some more at wholesale. Like, I'm giving you a percentage. Like, you don't have to. It's crazy. Most bands would love to get free tapes or free merch, and also the opportunity to buy wholesale. Ultimately it drops your cost per unit down when you're buying the wholesale, because you got free ones to begin with. But so they record this EP, they send it off to me. Their communication was wretched. I should have known right then and there to just not do this. Actually, when I got it going at first, they were communicating pretty well. By the time I paid for it, the communication had gotten pretty bad. And ultimately, I had to reach out and tell them, hey, guys, I got these tapes. I need to know where to send them. Y'all were in a hurry to get them. And, I'm going to have them. I think I either had them or I was going to have them in the next day or so. But it was getting to that point. And that finally gets somebody to respond, and they're like, "Oh, thanks, man. Ship them here." And then they tell me like, "Hey, just heads up, we're looking for a new vocalist." And I'm like, "What?" And then I start looking at their some of their posts, and I could tell that if I had known that that was coming, I would have been able to figure it out. How do I say this? It was obvious in hindsight that they were having problems internally, right? And they were like, "But it's okay. We're going to find a new vocalist. We've got some auditions going. We'll be fine." And I said, "Okay, well, how many wholesale tapes do you want?" And they gave me a number, and I was like, oh, "Okay, that's fine. Then that'll cover a fair amount of my initial investment." And then whenever I get the tapes in, that's what it was. Is I got the tapes in, and I said, "Hey guys, I'm sending the tapes out." When I send them the tracking number, that's when they tell me, "Hey, we're just going to go ahead and dissolve the band." I know, dude.
It's fucked.
And because the only thing that I require from a band that I work with is that they are like active and touring, so that I don't just lose money. And they had a tour set up, and I mean I've validated or verified some of it beforehand. Dude, it was incredibly aggravating. But yeah, so just work with people that you know. It'll bite you in the ass if you don't. Learn Photoshop. One thing that I didn't know is that when you have a label, you can't send like physical art. I know this is gonna sound real stupid, but I thought that I could send physical art. I could just do the layout, create the artwork, and send it to them, and they would create the J cards or the jackets for a record or something like that. No, 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 no. They will send you a template. Go here, you put it together, and that's fine. Especially now, I'm good at it now. But boy, I tell you, it was very scary. I'm not a tech guy at all, so learning Photoshop was incredibly. It was scary, and I still wouldn't consider myself like good at it, but I'm good enough to put together a template for a jacket or something. But have you ever had to do any of this stuff?
No, that's why I'm having you do it whenever I do my thing.
True
I don't
story.
know anything about that.
True story. Yeah, it would behoove you to have me do all this stuff.
I tried doing it for Hate's live album, and my DPI wasn't what they needed, and I worked on it a long time, but I was never able to figure out how to do it to the template for the CD manufacturer. So I don't get involved with that stuff.
Yeah, and they don't understand that people aren't tech people, so they're just expecting you to know how to do stuff.
Yeah, I was just doing it through PixArt on my phone, and I was putting a.
Oh no, yeah, you can't use your phone. You have to use a computer.
Yeah,
yeah.
So can't do it.
That's the thing is I tried the same exact thing using my phone to do it.
That's what I do for all our flyers and stuff. That's
the flyers. It's easy.
Yeah,
PixArt's great. I like PixArt.
Did you use PixArt?
Yeah,
that's how the Hate sticker came. Man, that's awesome. Shout out Pixar.
Yeah, shout out Pixar. I use it. It's on my phone right now.
I'm never gonna do the gold subscription y'all want me to, but I'll keep.
I think I have that. I use all of it. I use PixArt a lot. I use it a lot. But yeah, Photoshop is an incredibly handy just application and skill. Like if you can do Photoshop, you can do a lot of stuff. They're going to kick us out of here in a second. I'm going to go ahead and pause for one moment. Let me hop in the car and I'll start back up. I may even drive home talking to y'all. I'm not sure yet. But give me 1 second and I'll start this back up. All right, we're back in the car. I don't know if you could see. Oh, can't zoom in on this mode. So, Colin, you're going to be barely in this video, buddy.
That's okay.
I know. I don't think you cared. I don't know what I'm buckling up for. We're just sitting here. Anyways, so, okay. One thing, I just got an email like before we were coming, or as we were coming out here. Be prepared for delays, man. Like no matter what you do, there's going to be delays with stuff. Photoshop is essential. If you can learn Photoshop, you don't have to pay other people to do it. Learn how to do things yourself. Learn how to create artwork. Get templates, save them. Be organized. I can't explain to you how difficult this is if you're not organized. Whenever you get something from somebody, like let's say you have a band that sends you cover art. Let's say that they want to do the cover art and they send it to you, right? And then there's some kind of change that needs to be made. Maybe there's information that needs to be added to the back of the label, right? And then they give you a new updated version of the cover art. Delete the prior version. Just get out of there. Get rid of it. Delete it. If you have multiples, you'll end up sending the wrong shit to production. It's happened to me before, and I actually have a cassette tape with the wrong catalog number on it because in my haste I sent them the wrong file with it. Dude, it's so stupid. Keep every band stuff in their own file. Bandcamp is massively important. Be prepared to okay, so like if you do a pre-order, right, people buy a bunch of them. Print the shipping labels pretty immediately. You don't have to send them the tracking number yet, but print them, buy all of it because they're going to give you money for the shipping, right? Take that money and buy the shipping labels because if you wait, all of a sudden you're going to have to buy 150 shipping labels at $5 a piece. It's going to cost a lot of money. It's going to hit you hard. You're not going to realize it. You'll think like, oh, I'll just stick it aside. No. Just buy it right away and set the labels aside. Mark them appropriately. And that way, when it's time to ship them out, you're not having to come out of pocket a bunch of money that you already spent when you shouldn't have spent it. The money for shipping is for shipping. Also, don't be afraid to charge the right amount for shipping. Shipping costs a lot, and the packaging costs a lot. We were just talking about People of Punk Rock being in Canada. Dude, it's even more outside the country. If you're going to ship places, charge the right shipping. It sucks sometimes, but it is what it is. You shouldn't be paying the shipping for other people to get their items. That doesn't make any sense. Shipping is just a part of it. If you don't live locally, you have to get the stuff shipped. You have to pay the shipping cost. My shipping is fixing to go up to $7.99 instead of $6.99 because I'm fixing to buy the right kind of boxes. I'm finally going to just suck it up. No matter how many of these damn boxes I buy, they're still $2 a box. I have tried to buy 1,000 of them to get them at a lower cost. No. I was willing to buy up to 1,000 if I can get them like $1.25, and I can't find them anywhere for less than $2.12 unless I buy 300, and then they're $1.89. $2 for a box, but it's the good boxes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the shipping to $7.99. That's going to cover the box, all the tape, the bubble wrap, because none of that stuff's free. It's going to cover all the packing supplies and the cost of the shipping, right? And I won't make a single extra penny over that, right? But what I will put in the listing is that if you buy up to like 4 items, they will all fit in this one box. So the shipping will just stay $7.99. Anybody that spends $100 with me or more, the shipping is free inside the U.S. anyway. So I'm as fair as I could possibly be, but don't be afraid to charge what you need to charge, man. You can't pay for other people's shipping costs. It doesn't make sense, man. At the end of the day, if you have a label or you have a band or you have a shop, it is still a business. A label's going to cost you more money than it's worth most of the time, but you still don't want to go and spend extra money.
I think people will pay, $1 more in shipping for their stuff to come out good.
In a good box.
Not risking it in a grocery bag.
Well, that's what happened is I bought the boxes that were like $1.25 a piece, and I got them, and I wasn't satisfied with them. I was like, oh, dude, I don't like these. If I got a box with this, I would be not mad, but I would definitely be disappointed. I would maybe note to self, don't buy from these guys again. So I'm buying the boxes that have the extra hard cardboard. They have the extra flaps that cover the record, so when you ship them, if they get dinged, it doesn't touch the album. I'm going to go ahead and just buy those because I think as a customer, I would prefer them.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Everything about him is very organized. His shop is very neat, so he's the type of guy that would, ship your shit better.
I try to stay organized, and I'm not 100% organized, but I'm better than a lot of people that I know. My wife isn't as organized as I am, and most other shop owners that I know, their kind of stuff is kind of everywhere.
And if people complain, throw in a free sticker. That'll justify the $1 for everybody.
I chuck in stickers when I can. I chuck in extra tapes when I can. Here's the thing: if you buy enough from me, I'll remember that, and you'll start getting free stuff for sure.
He's done it with me.
I try to do that with as many people as I can. Let's see. I had a couple more notes. Oh, communication is key. When you're doing this stuff, communication is so important. Don't ignore emails. Don't ignore text messages. Like, if you have a question, just reach out. Call people. Also, within communication, when you're doing stuff that has to do with, like, promises being made, do not do that on a phone call. Send an email. You need written proof that you have some kind of deal being made. No matter what the deal is. It could be as small as, like, hey, I need... as an example, my printers that do all my like extra sticker shit, they won't do it over the phone. I have to send them an email order so that they have record of all the conversation. It turned out that helps me. They've made a mistake in the past where I was able to go back and look and go, hey, y'all actually said it was going to be this price, and they were like, oops, that was a typo, but we did say that. Here you go, and they just gave me the price difference, and it helps a lot. Communication is very, very important. Talk with the members of the band. If you can find one person that kind of like runs the band stuff, stick with that one person. Have them talk to the band, and then they talk to you. Because if you're dealing with 3 people out of 5, it's going to get messy very quick. But like I said, when I say communication is key, that doesn't mean you have to talk to everybody. It just means make sure and communicate. Excuse me. Also, co-release as much as you can. If you have bands or labels that want to release stuff with you, initially, now, with 2 of my releases, I was not going to do that. And it was only because I was so proud of the music that they were bringing to the table, and I was so happy, and just, it was a personal thing. Other than those 2 releases, I'm willing to co-release just about anything because it saves everybody money. And if... let's say you have two organizations and yourself, so three total people that are going to release an album. That means you have 3 different fan groups that are going to get to see it. You have 3 different places that are going to ship it with your name on it. They'll also get those same benefits through your stuff, so they'll get to benefit from your fan base or whatever. But ultimately, it's the cost. Putting out a 12-inch record, let's say you're going to do 450 copies of it, so 150, 150, 150. Dude, you're looking at like $5,000 or more, maybe more than that. But if you just do the third, you're looking at, what was that, like 16, 17, 1,800 bucks? Let's just say $1,800, and you're going to get 100. Dude, I don't think people understand how hard it is to sell 150 copies, much less 500. Like, I mean, it's so hard to move vinyl if it's not either popular, like hitting a good, bubble, or like a touring act. How long do you think it would take to sell 500 copies of a Hates LP?
The Hates LP, man, I don't know, because a lot of the more recent CDs have been runs of like 100, and there's not too much stock left of them, but they've also been around for a couple years. So 500, I mean,
that's the thing, dude.
Like today, I don't know, because there's still Hate stuff that's floating around on Discogs. So not the early stuff. The early stuff is scarce, but like today, probably a couple years. Probably,
I mean, it would take a long,
unless we were touring.
Yeah, but even then, like, even if you're touring, 500's a lot, man. And like, I've pressed 150 copies of tapes for people that are popular bands. I still have half of that. And that's cheap. Those are $7, $8. LP's $22, $25, something like that. So I mean, the thing is like, understand that, like, oh man, if you get 500 of them, the price per unit will go down. It's like, yeah, that's great, but it's still more money. And if you have a bunch of dead inventory, that money didn't get spent. It's not just Make less profit. It's okay. Like, sell the stuff you've got. Once you're out of it, you're out of it. That's a good thing.
That's why a lot of punk bands in the 90s, 30 Foot Fall included, they'd do a test run of a small amount, and then they do another one. And
you could always do a second press.
Yeah, maybe to make it different. Maybe the vinyl was black before and make it clear the next
Right.
time, something like that.
Well, that's exactly right. You can always do a second press, and it's always even better to do a second press on a different color of some kind. Do CDs if you think you can move them. They're cheap. Man, do tapes if you think you can move them. They're cheap. But vinyl's expensive. It's expensive to make, it's expensive to ship, and it's expensive to sell at a show. $20 to $25 is not the same as $10 for a tape or a CD. That makes a big difference. Yeah, it's crazy, man. There's a lot to talk about with this. I don't know everything. I would love to talk about this in the comments, or I want comments that I can go through and write down more notes to come back with a part 2. But I want to know like specific questions. I only have a couple more things to talk about in this part of this. I don't want to sit here for another half hour. Already talked about shipping. Freight. Oh, also within shipping, freight is not included on your quote for your records. So if you go to press a record, understand that 300 albums or more weighs a lot. And freight will be another $100 to $120. Like, so if they tell you, hey, it's $1,500 and everybody scrimps and saves and you get the $1,500, it's going to be $1,620. It's going to be a lot more money, $1,600. It's going to cost a lot to ship it, especially if you're getting it from outside the U.S. Last thing I'll talk about with this before I have a question from a viewer, don't be afraid to fail. If you're not making mistakes and you're not failing at least a little bit, then you're not trying very hard and you're not taking very many risks. It's okay to make a mistake. It's okay to fail. You're going to learn more from your failures than you are from your successes. That is a proven fact. You learn more because you don't want to repeat failures. But a success, you're just going to be like, oh, I'll just keep doing the same thing. But if you fail, you're going to be forced to adapt, to learn, to change what you're doing. I've made plenty of failures. I've made plenty of bad choices. Hell, the first 3 years I was on YouTube, I had a whole different channel. I was never even happy doing it. I just thought it was what I was supposed to be doing. And once I realized that I needed to do something different, I pivoted over and started the punk rock review, and I've never been happier. So don't be afraid to make a mistake. Don't be afraid to take a risk. But make it calculated. Don't risk a lot of money if you can avoid it. If you can, if you're fixing to risk $2,500, that's probably not wise. Like, unless you just have thousands of dollars to throw in the air, which most people in our position doing these things with punk bands don't.
Yeah, if you're in punk, you probably don't have that much money lying around.
And if you do have that much money lying around, I'm skeptical as to why you're in punk. It's, kind of anyways, whatever. You know what I'm saying though? It's like one of those weird things.
I'm gatekeeping punk finances.
We should. That's exactly what we're doing.
Quick context. H just made a good amount of money from Dan Electros, but because punk is punk, I split it 3 ways between all the bands.
Good amount of money is like that. I mean,
what I consider a good amount of money would be like the $448 at a show, which I split with 2 other bands.
Yes, but I don't consider that a good amount of money.
Most people wouldn't, but this is a punk show, so for that,
I mean, even at a punk show, I don't consider that a good amount of money. But it's all about perspective. It's like, what you think is good may not be good to me. What I think is amazing, you may think is pretty mediocre. So, like, if it's something works for you, though, do it. Like, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Don't concern yourself with what other people think, and it's not going to help you out. Also, lastly, before I answer this question, find something that sets yourself apart from other people, please. Like, just do that for yourself. I do certain things with my label that are a little different than other labels, and it sometimes is a pain in the butt. I sometimes forget and have to rush and do things, but it matters. It stands out. People do appreciate it. I hear enough feedback that I know people ultimately like what I do, so
I think the cassette thing sets you apart.
I loved making cassettes, dude. I wish more people wanted cassettes.
That's why I want to release through, specifically because of the cassette thing.
That's so rad.
That's cool.
So, but yeah, I guess when I do a part 2, I will focus more on the shop a little bit because this was mostly label talk. But Andrew Dennis is a pretty consistent viewer and supporter of the channel, in the store and everything, the label. He asked me what was my 5-year goal, and I guess I'm coming up on 5 years of being in this business. But a 5-year goal from now, ultimately my main goal is to be open still. To be making enough money to where my wife doesn't have to work as much, that I can keep taking care of my kids. I would like to have, I'm at I don't know, 16 and 17 release, I'd like to be at, 50. I want to keep doing the label. I want to keep working with bands like Bullshit Detector. I want to keep helping my friends out. My goals aren't monetary. Well, they're kind of connected to money, I guess, but they're not like, I want to have $100,000 in the bank. I don't care about that, man. I don't ever plan on stopping working. Retirement is a pipe dream for somebody like me. Yeah, I want to be healthy and in business still. I want to put out more LPs. I want
to see more bands partner with you, even like 30 Foot Fall being on People of Punk Rock. I know they could still like partner with you.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that, because
that's what I would like. I would like to put out a record with 30 Foot Fall.
I want to see you work with more legend Houston bands.
Right.
If we're going
now that I'm getting somewhere with my label and I'm getting a little traction, I think that's possible. I think I could do something with the Hates one day.
Yeah.
I think, and I would love to do that. I think my goals would be to just keep putting records out, stay relevant. I'm a big fan of Bullshit Detector, so the fact that we're working together all the time is something I'm very proud of. So I would hope that I can do stuff with those guys still. I want to put out something for Liberty and Justice. I love that band. They're friends of mine. It peeves me that I haven't put anything out for those guys. I don't know what Ryan would think of that. He may not really want to, and that's his prerogative. It's his band. So, but just something, man, a 7-inch or an EP or something would just be so rad. God, that's me hitting the gas.
I was wondering,
bro. I'm over here like daydreaming about putting out Liberty and Justice records, and my foot just goes. Brrr. My car's like, yo, chill, bro.
Excited.
Yeah, I did get excited. I just got a fucking
that's why
boner.
That's why you had the seatbelt on earlier.
I did.
You were gonna do that.
My 5-year goal is to not be in jail and to like still be fucking putting out records. Yeah, man. I don't know. I think I hope within 5 years that I've grown enough in business to be wanting to get a bigger store, but to have the intelligence and wisdom to not do it. I hope that I can recognize that I'm in a good place, and I don't think people think that growth is necessary all the time. No, I think that you don't have to always grow to be successful. You can find a place where you're comfortable and stick with it. Like maybe I can grow as in get a bigger place to have at home, so I have a little more space at home and I can do more online sales. I want to grow my website. I want to grow my label. I want to have 50 releases in 5 years. I want to have, in 5 years with the channel, I hope I'm at 100K. With the shop, I hope it just stays where it is and stays successful. I hope I can get a good metal section at the store. I hope I can still not have to mess with too much rap and pop. Not because I don't like the music, because I do like a lot of pop music and a fair bit of rap. I just don't listen to it much. I don't care about it like I do this other stuff. So those are my goals. To stay in business, to stay smart, to make business moves that make sense for my family. I hope I'm here still on YouTube doing things with the fan base on YouTube. I hope we're at a real nice round 100,000 by then. And, my goals aren't, I hope I can help people, man. That's all. My goals are to help people. I want to be able to help folks. And that could be put a record out for somebody. Dude, that could be, I don't fucking know, man. Helping people just talk with through their like daily stresses, man. I don't know. I don't really think about 5 years from now.
I mean, a lot of stuff with punk is really about networking. Like whenever I go to a lot of local shows, for me, I mean, like I said earlier with the hate shows, it's not really monetary for me. It's cool that we got a little bit of money, but I want the openers to partake in that money as well, and that's why I split it that way, because I want to build relationships with these other bands and get more eyes on these people, because some of the bands that we played with are newer ones, like Lockdowns and Nothing Much, people like that.
Lockdowns are awesome. Shout out Lockdowns. Go check that band out. They're good.
Hell yeah. It's just about networking, and because that's what punks do. You saw my Warehouse Live debacle thing. You saw that, the main point was about money and all that, and a lot of the punks stood up with the hates and were just like, it's not about money, it's just about building community and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was weird. These guys wanted a local band to go sell 100
on
tickets.
On a Thursday.
Like, just I don't.
The rebuttal was, I got blocked, but I blocked her. But the rebuttal was that if punks were really so supportive, we would have had no issue selling 100 tickets on a Thursday. But that's not what it's about.
That's not how it works on a Thursday night
not
for
with punk rockers.
Not only that, but like, look, dude, with all respect, the Hates have been around a long time. It's going to be hard for y'all to... I mean, they've been around since 1978, right? They're not the kind of band that's going to go get like some kind of crazy hype all of a sudden. You've got like a loyal fan base, but on a Thursday to be able to sell I can't even imagine being told to... Any band. I mean, I can't imagine Ryan from Liberty and Justice being told, hey, go sell 100 tickets, and him not being like, the fuck are you talking about 100 tickets? You sell 100 tickets. You're the vendor.
Exactly.
Like,
and that's what I found. It is good, like what you're doing to be independent, because I noticed that whenever money's not the priority and it's just a nice thing on the side, it's good to just do shit yourself and not have to answer to any middleman like that. Because the shows that I booked myself at Dan Electro's and the replacement show we did at Black Magic was so much more fun, and the fact that there was a good amount of money to split with, the openers was a nice plus, but it's just fun being able to build that community that way. Right. So I think you'll get a loyal fan base. That'll be your 5-year goal.
Well, man, I don't do 5-year goals so far down the line for me, man. Like a 1-year goal, man. I want to put out a couple more records, work with I have some people that I can't talk about, but I want to work with a couple people that hopefully it'll come to fruition. But like, I want to put out big records though. My goal is to be able to put out 500 press records. I want to work with bands that are doing enough touring that 500 makes sense. That's my goal, to be reputable, to be, popular isn't the right word, but I think I do want to be more popular within the punk rock scene with my label. I don't care about me, just the label.
Just for it to be a spot where people actually want to drive to go to your shop directly.
Oh no, I'm talking about the label. The shop people already do that. I get people that drive in from Austin and San Antonio and San Marcos all the time. Oh. It's crazy, isn't it?
I didn't know
it's
you're
fucking
that
wild.
popular.
No, I'm not. The record store is. People don't care about me. They're like, dude, this guy's got cool records.
I go to his shop just to hang out with him.
Fucking A. And on that note, we're going to get here. This has been a 30-minute video now. But yeah, if you got more questions about this stuff, I'll do a part 2 about the shop. But yeah, man. Owning this stuff is a lot, man. It's a lot of work. I think my best advice would be, don't do it if you're not prepared to lose everything. There's been a couple of times where I was like, oh no, this is bad, and it could have been even worse. So I don't know, just be careful. Ask questions, hit me up if you want. I don't care, I'll help you out. I'm tired and hungry, I'm gonna go eat. So yeah, we'll talk to you on the next ShpTalk, Colin.
Yeah. I don't do that.
Blah! Anyways, that was weird. I'm out of here. Peace.